In our book, Own a Home Cheaper Than Rent, we talk about success stories of other people who have done the exact same thing that Zach has done. They bought a home, rented the basement, and we want to show you how some of those numbers actually shake out for these people. So Zach, tell us about a couple of these clients that we've worked with.
Yeah, so the fun part about this one is as we look at it, we want to figure out how to duplicate success, right? And that's what we've been able to find is there's a specific pattern here, a specific set of rules that if we play by, we can basically take the same success that I've had and pass it on to the client and say, look, let's make sure that you have as many advantages as possible to you. And here's two of the stories that we had over the last year or so. So one was Lexi. Lexi ended up purchasing a place in a college town next to us. And as we look at that, she ended up saying, well, look, I want to buy a place, but I don't want to have the responsibility covering the whole mortgage because she's just a single girl that has graduated. And so she said, well, look, let's buy something with the accessory apartment. So she found a beautiful 5-bedroom home, and 2 of the bedrooms were an accessory apartment that she rented for $1,100. And she looked at the other 3 bedrooms upstairs and said, well, I'm going to live in one, but I don't need the other 2 bedrooms. How about I bring in roommates and, rent these to 2 other, girls that are going to college nearby. And so she ended up getting $575 out of each of those bedrooms. So in total in rent, she was collecting $2,250, and her mortgage was $2,502. So she was only covering, $252, of which was probably going to principal. So essentially, she was living rent free, which was just a beautiful scenario for her. The next one is Chad and Maria's house hack. They ended up purchasing a beautiful house on the East Bench of Provo, and they have a legal accessory apartment in it that they rent out for $1,000. And they end up, having to pay about $1,609 for their portion. But I look at the house that they have and the size that it is, and I say, wow, that's totally worth it. Because currently, you couldn't get that much house for $1,600. And so I look at both of these scenarios and think they listened to the advice that we gave them and they executed it at just an extremely high level, and they're really benefiting from doing that.
Yeah, and we could tell so many stories with so many clients. We're at this place where 25 to 30% of our clients actually opt to do the house hack strategy. So we're working with a lot of people that do this, and we could tell even more stories about how people have done exactly what you've done here. And the book is called what? Own a Home Cheaper Than Rent. Let's go back to that slide for just a second. Is Lexi owning a home cheaper than she could have paid rent to rent that whole house?
100%.
She sure is. What about Chad and Maria? Like, could they rent their house for $1,609?
Not even close to it.
No, they really couldn't. So it's such a brilliant strategy because it really does make it's true. You can own a home cheaper than rent. And we have done this with a lot of people. So if that's something you want to dig into and learn more about, just jump on house hack
Analysis.
househackanalysis.com. Schedule a time to meet with one of us. We'll be happy to talk you through it, see if it's even a good fit. And then continue to look for videos. Every few days, we'll send out something. The next video we're going to be sending you is called The Compound Effect. And we're actually going to compare a couple of people, like one guy that did a house hack, one guy that didn't. And what do those numbers look like after a year? What about 2 years? What about 10 years? Like what's the long-term play with something like this? So look for that video here, sometime next week. I know you're going to enjoy it.